let me just see the turn this just ever so slightly. Is that good? Better, better, maybe not, maybe so, maybe not. Anyways. I hope you are all doing so fabulous this beautiful Saturday. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. And this is the case of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was reported missing from his home on February 26, 2024, when he was only 15 years old. He has since turned 16 and has not been seen or heard from since he disappeared from his home, which I believe was actually February 25th, 2024. Now, the details of his case are a little bit perplexing because he was only with his mother. He wasn't really with anybody else, and the only other people around him this particular weekend, was 2 aunts and a cousin. Family. Nobody else. We also learned over the last 15 months that Sebastian was locked down from social media. Even if he had had previous social media interactions, say at his dad's house, or even at his own home where he disappeared from, at the time he disappeared, things had changed. When they were at the Remington house, things were probably a lot more normal than they were when they moved over to Stafford Court. Something happened after they moved to the Stafford Court address. And I can't figure out what it was, but it seemed as soon as they moved into that house, within 30 days, they wanted Sebastian out. They started reaching out to his father as early as October of 2022, wanting to rehome their son. And when he couldn't take him right then and there, they started investigating homes to put Sebastian in. However, those homes were very, very costly. And so they decided to wait for Seth to get everything together for Sebastian to come live with him. And throughout this duration, over a 15, 16, 17-month duration, CPS visited that home 5 or more occasions. 5 or more occasions because of required reporting from teachers when Sebastian went to confide in them. They thought whatever he was telling them rose to the level of needing to be reported or required to be reported to the Department of Children and Family Services. It has been 15 months, more than 15 months, since Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home, from inside his locked home, where he was only residing with a military-trained mother. All windows and doors were locked. There was no indication of foul play. Here we are. All right, guys, so that was my intro. It's nice to see you. Southern Grammy, good morning. Grave Crime with Grace, it's nice to see you. Carla, Outer Banks, Sharon, hello, good morning. Melanie, Donna, Deanna, Ginger Girl's mom, it's nice to see you, Love Bug. I hope you're doing well. Peggy, Alcoholic. Anna, it's nice to see you as well. Good morning. Linda, Kaz, it's nice to see you. Southern, VA, Christy, Stephanie, good morning to all. Vicky, me and you. Michelle, it's nice to see you. I don't know if I said hi to you, Melanie, but if I didn't, good morning to you, my love. Frank, good morning. Our beautiful Sonia is up in the house. It's nice to see you, Sonia. Just Gin's Justice. I like that. Michelle, I think I said hi to you. It's nice to see you. Oh, Millie Cat, it's nice to see you. It's me being me. It's nice to see you. Julie, good morning. Shirley, it's nice to see you. Oma, Phil, good morning. And Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Rachel. I hope you're doing well. So I know we've been on a case, the newest case of Lily and Jack Sullivan, because of the urgency related to that case. It's a fresh case. There are 2 children missing, ages 6 and 4, very young, in rugged terrain, in a very desolate rural area. of Lansdowne Station, which is in Nova Scotia, Canada. And it's really sucked a lot of our time away. And then I saw the interview from WKRN with Caitlin Quisenberry. And I saw and I felt, because you feel when Seth talks, that's the issue, when Seth talks, because the only time he opens his mouth is to talk about his son, okay? If you ask him how he's doing, every time you speak to him, he's always fine. You know damn well he's not fine. But he's always fine because he doesn't want to think about himself. He wants to talk about his son. He wants to show you pictures of his son. He wants people to be inspired to help find his son. And I don't think he does it strategically. I think it's organic. Because whenever I was watching him outside of Sumner County, kudos for the location. Love that. Love the location. I know how hard it is being a parent working with law enforcement and dealing with a missing child. And it's not just a missing child because his son's not missing. This is truly criminal investigation. Law enforcement believes something happened to his son. We believe something happened to his son. He's desperate to find his son. And law enforcement is trying, in my opinion, at least prior to when he had renewed hope in law enforcement, and we started saying we're having renewed hope in law enforcement, and we kept waiting and waiting and waiting for something, anything to move, the needle to move, the needle to move, the needle to move, and it's not moving, it's not moving. And so, and it's hard because I don't want to add any more burden to Seth, that's never, ever anything I would ever do. I don't want to add additional burden to him, but, there's been times I talked to him about it, and I talked to him about Layla Santinello's case. And the reason why I compare Layla Santinello's case to him, astrology for the mystics, it's nice to see you. The needle ain't moving. It's not. And so and we were talking about Layla Santinello's case, and it's nothing. I love Jennifer Santinello. I love Nova Grace. I love Opie. I love all of them. I know them on a personal level. I feel, for the situation. The reason why I know Jennifer Santinello is because she was begging the world for somebody to take and pay attention to her daughter's case, and nobody was doing it. And after speaking to Olivia and I decided to go out there and try to help. And we were able to make her case go viral, which was her first, opportunity to really get her daughter's name out there. And the reason why I say so much is because her daughter was an adult. We know how law enforcement feel about adults. It's very hard to get them to take action when it's a missing adult. She was an adult, not only an adult, but a drug-addicted adult. And so there's other complexities to drug-addicted missing adults because, most of them go on the lam and benders. And so those things are well known to law enforcement. And it really takes, getting their attention to let them know that, yes, we understand that the children, that our children just leave and, go get and go on the lam for a while, but they always reach back out and they always have these certain behaviors. And we can always know that they're okay by going here, and they'll have something here, and we got nothing here, letting them know how abnormal it is and how out of character it is, even with them being the addict that they are. So this is a child. Sebastian's a 15-year-old child. He's not a drug-addicted adult that they're trying to decide, is this person on the lam or is this person in need of help? This is an underage child, and both the parents don't know where this child is. And so when you compare this case against Layla Santinello's case, which is also in Tennessee, and not just in Tennessee, but Sullivan County, Tennessee. So you got one on the east coast of Tennessee, one on the west coast of Tennessee, and you're looking at these cases, and it's like, even this girl that was drug addicted, adult, missing adult, law enforcement took seriously. And not only took seriously, they actually gave a crap. They actually went out there and searched for her. But not only that, even when they scaled back the searches, they started doing targeted searches. Over the next 18 months, They did multiple, at least 6 or 7 multiple targeted searches. And I know that because I was out there, and there was times that I was coordinating with their law enforcement. They couldn't tell me anything. So how I had it worked out with law enforcement, and I would send them the map of the area that I was going to be searching. And if I wasn't allowed to search that area, they would ask me to find other search locations. If there was any possibility of me finding other search locations, they would usually tell me that, they haven't cleared that area yet, and they really would like their searchers in that area before volunteer searchers go in there. So, I understood that. Had no problem complying. Had no problem working different areas when that situation came up. But they did targeted searches. They continue even to this day. Even to this day. They just did another targeted search that I just heard about through the grapevine a few weeks ago for Layla Santinello that has been missing for, 2023? She's been missing for almost 2 years now? No, she's been missing for almost 3 years. Hasn't she? 2022? Good gracious. Time just starts flying by. These cases start running together. Good gracious. But, so that's why, the reason why I'm going through all of this long-winded information is because I want people to understand June 27, 2023. Golly, we're coming up on 2 years. Good gracious. Good gracious. Time flies. Time flies. And they're still doing targeted searches. Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years. And I am utterly shocked that we had 8 days for Sebastian, a medically needy teen, and we've had 0 targeted searches. 0 arrests. 0 charges for the alleged abuse. 0. But don't worry, guys. They know how to work the silver cuffs. Okay, let's not forget Sumner County knows how to work those silver cuffs, because they can arrest somebody not violating any laws, hanging a camera out of their car and posting flyers of this missing boy, but can't seem to arrest the people that abused this child until the date of his disappearance. Went on the lam to frickin' Mississippi and South Carolina and went on this, worldwide or nationwide tour of sightseeing when their child disappeared. Can't seem to get anything together for the people responsible for this, but hey, don't go to Sumner County hanging your camera out the window. Just saying. Just saying. Even their own residents there didn't even buy the BS. That. Like I said, they're an embarrassment. They're an utter embarrassment. They should be ashamed of themselves. Everybody in that county. Everybody in that county should be ashamed of their leadership. I'm just saying. If this stuff was going on, I will not lie. And you can call Rick Wells. You can call my county commissioners if you choose. I guarantee if something like this went on in my county, I would be protesting somewhere. I would be gathering some people. I would have my signs. It would most likely be in front of the county, the BOCC, our county administrative building. But you damn right. And trust me, if you know anything about me, I don't need an entourage. Do I like an entourage when we're doing a gathering of voices? Of course. The bigger the presentation, the bigger the impact. Of course. But do I need it? Absolutely not. I'm perfectly fine going up and walking down a sidewalk with a bullhorn and a picket sign. I've done it before. Just saying. I got a little experience in the subject matter. So if this stuff, and I'm not trying, I know I'm being a little satire, but we wouldn't do that here. We wouldn't do that here. We wouldn't do that. If something like this, like there were some things like Rodney Jones, I have to say, but I did not know about Rodney Jones until after the court hearing was all said and done. Rodney Jones is my bud. He's on the opposite side of the aisle, but he's an activist and an advocate. I agree with some of the stuff he does. I don't agree with all the stuff he does, period. But he's my bud. And, he ended up getting himself into a pickle. And had I known it, it was while I was traveling, doing this stuff. And had I known he had been arrested for something he said at one of the government meetings, I would have came in very, very strong. It was too late by the time I found out about it, so there was nothing that could be done at that point. But there has been things that have happened in my county that I should have been more, or should have known about, and should have been more a part, but I can't when I'm halfway across the country. So that was a missed opportunity, and I really felt bad. But I got to see him. He was at not the last BOCC meeting, but the meeting before that. He was, he's just a frail guy that can't see. Like, there's no reason for anybody to be putting their hands on him. And I would have protested. I would have absolutely protested. I would have been so damn annoying that they would have been bringing him out. I don't know if Rick could handle it. Rick would probably be out there with me. He'd probably be out there trying to counsel me. I don't know. But, funny, not funny, but I do think that Seth did the right place. He spoke from the heart. You feel, when that's the difference. When you hear Seth, you feel his words. You feel his pain. When you hear Chris and Katie, it's hollow. It's cold. I don't know. I really don't. Hey, Eric. It's nice to see you. I'm sure April's got to be in the background somewhere. Tell her I said good morning. Morning, morning. Suddenly Sally, the real me too. And Mama Bear, it's nice to see you. If they are actively investigating Sebastian's case, why isn't the sheriff giving info to the DA so he can answer Seth? Exactly. But it doesn't even sound like the DA is really even wanting to speak to Seth. I think that he's trying to get in front of the DA. I mean, I could be wrong. It's, for whatever reason, I feel like he's been wanting to try to get in front of the DA to talk to the DA for some time. I don't know if the DA has declined to speak to him, or, maybe I've got the information incorrect. I can't remember. But at the end of the day, I would be pissed if we had one of the largest cases, public interest cases in our community, and I've got a sheriff that can't seem to speak. I would be mortified. Like, if it, and this is like the business card. Think about it. If you're living in this county, is this the sheriff you want? If your child or your loved one got injured or went missing, is that the kind of, because you got to remember, if they ain't saying something to the public, the families ain't knowing about nothing either, despite what you think. So the family usually finds out about the information at the same time the public finds out the information. So when they're not giving updates, the family is locked out. And if that is the business card you want for the sheriff running your county, if somebody in your family disappeared, hey, Eric Craddock is your guy. But if you want an investigation and you want transparency as well as confidentiality, he is not your guy, because he doesn't know how to walk and chew gum. And I'm not sure how comfortable I would feel. Now, I haven't gone through Rick Wells's, Facebook pages. But at the end of the day, I truly don't see Rick Wells having a post on any public social media. I think his mommy and daddy would have put their boot up his butt. But I digress. But I don't think I'd ever catch Rick Wells having some type of post about rape being a strong word. It's more like snuggle, struggle, or whatever. Do you understand? I don't know if any sheriff would be stupid enough to joke about something like that. And then to have an entire county just look past it and say, okay, we're going to give you the job anyways. No big deal. Until it's your daughter getting, snuggled, struggled. And then you realize how wrong of a sheriff you have hired. And you knew it when you hired him. What? I don't get it. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. If it was their kid missing, they'd be all exactly. I think I've never seen here in Florida we have community involvement. Okay, it doesn't take anything. It's a few posts on Facebook, a few posts on Telegram, a flyer here, a flyer there. You got yourself. If you don't like something, it'll take you maybe 15 days if you really want a big impact. But hey, you can do it on a drop of a dime just by Facebook, Telegram, and other social medias like Twitter, and get people out there for any cause, right? We have community involvement here. I could go to a few political places around here, talk to them about whatever the project is. If it's something that they have passion for, they'll be there. So I don't understand how Seth's having to work with people outside of the state of Tennessee to advocate for his son that's in Tennessee, and the residents that are all complaining that they're not getting information on this case. But hey, we don't like those crazy YouTubers and media around here because they're affecting our way of life. Well, despite them not giving a rat's ass about the life of Sebastian Rogers, just their convenience. The whole damn county. I've just never seen anything like. We got good people out there. I met Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy, Andrea, Alana, Aaron, Gina, Judy, SPED, just a Robin. We met a lot of people. So I don't understand why we have to come out from other states, but all these people that are in their community, that if this was their child, would not allow this to be going on if it was their child not standing up for somebody else's child. I just don't understand that. You know what? There was a few things we were taught, which was kind of hypocritical, but we learned very well what to keep our nose in and what to not to keep our nose in, right? So it's mind your own business, but you see something, you say something, right? Mind your own business, but you see something, you say something. And so we're minding our own business, and along came this case of Sebastian Rogers, and we saw one parent devastated while two other parents are laughing and joking on interviews. So we saw something and we said something. And then we got in trouble for it. What? That whole community, outside of a few people with good old noggins on top of their head, sometimes you just need to get in other people's business, even when it's not your business. When it comes to the children, and I will tell this and say this all the time, when it comes to a victim, when it comes to political causes, and when it comes to children, I will be up in everybody's business, period. I really don't care. I don't care what they say about me. I don't care what they can go on days and days about how horrible Bullhorn Betty is, how mean Bullhorn Betty is, how this Bullhorn, I don't really care. At the end of the day, I know I'm a good person. Am I a roughneck? Of course I am. Do I have the ability to bring a lot of waves? Yes, I do. I know what kind of capital I have, and I utilize it where it needs to be utilized. I don't overutilize it. I don't think I'm this big old badass, but I know if anybody's going to bring stuff and has the tenacity and the backbone to deal with the bullshit, I know that I can. I know that my audience know that I can. I've watched you guys watch me go through a freaking meat grinder. and come out and still was filet mignon. I'm just saying, you know? I don't know how I regenerated into filet mignon, but I did. You know, maybe it's some of that Chinese toothpaste that everybody's talking about that make your teeth really white. Have you guys heard that they're actually building or making concrete that will repair itself? I was watching, and you guys, I know you think I'm crazy, but I read everything, okay? If it's something interesting, I never stop learning, even if it's not on the topic of conversation of true crime and stuff like that. You guys know I'm all about the building. We just did a little snippet article on the 3D printer for the, you know, the Starbucks. How did I read about that? It's not like we talk about Starbucks or talk about 3D printers or even talk about construction. But I found that it's kind of read everything. I get interested in a lot of weird stuff, okay? And so a lot of it's construction stuff because I like using my hands. I like building things, even though I haven't built things in a while. And in all fairness, I got good reason. Part of the divorce decree was the husband got all the you know, business equipment. That went all my miter saws, my scaffolding, my, you know, everything. The clamps, the wood clamps. All of that went. Okay, I don't have any. And it was thousands and thousands of dollars to build that stuff up. And now that I had hurricanes that blew out my barn, I don't really have a place to store those beautiful wood equipment in. So there you have it. But getting back to what we're talking about here is Sebastian has been missing. His father has been expressing his missing. We've watched his father go through a meat grinder. We've watched anybody that has really come here for Sebastian go through the meat grinder. We've watched the community stay silent because they're terrified. And when we go in that community and can't understand why they're so damn terrified, we get arrested when we didn't commit a crime. And so now we realize that community intimidates its residents. And I just want those residents to understand you can liberate yourself and say no more. Your county is corrupt. And the only way you're going to get out of this mess is if you vote your way out of it. That means no more Craddock. Craddock's got to go. No more Ron Blanton. Ron Blanton's got to go. I have been in that county for all of 30 days with, not even all of 30 days. How many days total? 1, 2, I was there. Well, I was there those 3 days. I came back for a few court hearings. So maybe, I think all in all, maybe a week. Total time in that community. Maybe a week. Okay? And I've already got my hand on the pulse of who's associated with who. That's how I know that Holly Thompson is best buds with Ron Blanton, you know, which just so happens to be the only interview person that can get Chris and Katie to sit down for an interview, which I just find awfully bizarre that man is the one that came in there and wouldn't even have a finding of fact for several motions, but just dismissed them anyways. That Ron Blanton. Kind of funny. Kind of funny when you look at all this intertwining stuff, you kind of see who's connected to who, and I was able to do that in a week. Okay? So if Bullhorn Betty can do that in a week in a county, for a county, how can that county in 15 months not have answers in the Sebastian Rogers case? There's that. And there's that. If I ever go to Sumner County, my husband has instructed from a family. Lisa B always says, "Oh, we're not going to be insane asylum bunkies. We're going to be jail bunkies." I just want to let you know, whoever stands next to me is responsible for me. Like everybody starts stepping back. Oh, good gracious. Oh, hey, Tigray. Stay away from Sumner County. Boy, I know. But it's going to be hard because, you know, in getting back to where we were going with this conversation before we took a detour, is the pain and the agony in Seth's voice and him, and hearing him saying it's my responsibility to keep people, you know, whatever his actual words was, you know, searching for my son, keeping people searching for my son. And my heart broke for him because we're all kind of taking a detour over to Lily and Jack. And in all fairness, I needed to take a detour to Lily and Jack because I've been through hell and back with the Sebastian Rogers case. And it was something that I could at least help advocate for, bring awareness to that case. But hearing that that interview yesterday broke my heart for Seth, hearing him wanted for his son, hearing him being angry with Sumner County because Sumner County, in my opinion, hasn't been doing their job. And that's been the bitch from the very beginning, right? My biggest complaint is they should have shut that house down. They should have turned that house into a crime scene. They should have turned his bedroom into a crime scene. They would be They would be further along in this investigation had they followed those two rules. That's it. That's it. And they didn't. And I truly believe that there is evidence that will forever be lost. And I also truly believe, Sandwich, it's nice to see you, but look at my comment before. Hold on. It's nice to see you, love. I'm going to go up here and see where I can find you. Did you see my comment about the Lore Lodge video on the corruption of missing kids in Tennessee? No, I didn't. Can you send them to bullhornbetty@gmail.com? Because I don't always read the comments in here. I mean, I'll catch a comment here and there when I'm look up and stuff, and I'll answer that particular. It's been my, so I can look like I'm engaged with it. But you guys talk so much in the chat, which I want you to, right? Which I want you to, but it makes it very difficult for me to see all of the comments. But I do like this style as opposed to the other style where I'm back and forth on screens and stuff like that. It really does take away, at least this way here, I'm able to see more and communicate more with my audience. The bad part is for whatever reason, I don't know. But anyways, Wild Wolf, my heart goes to Seth. He needs a village to help him find it. But see, the problem is that they're intimidating anybody. We can't go out usually you go out and search for people. It's no big deal. But Sumner County has made it almost a crime to search for this kid. To physically go out there and search. You are constantly intimidated. Are you going to be arrested? Are you going to have to deal with law enforcement? I mean, so that leaves them doing the searching, but they ain't doing the searching either. So they just don't want anybody else to do the searching while they sit on their freaking ass. I'm sorry. I don't know who Brandon Carter is. I don't want to be disrespectful to him, but at the end of the day, he needs approval to speak to the community and let us know what in the world is going on. I mean, are they just going to just never talk about him again? Because I feel like that's at what point are we going to get angry enough and demand answers? I really think we need 100 men gathering of voices, knocking on Sumner County saying enough's enough. What you got? Either make arrests or hand it over to the FBI or TBI. Sebastian deserves justice, and I don't trust corrupt counties. If they can do this, what they did to me, I don't trust them. I know for a damn fact I never broke one freaking law. I've never stalked them. If they would have followed their own law, but they're not worried about following their own law. All they're worried about is getting this. They wanted Lawfare with me. Well, Lawfare was going to wind them up in a Supreme Court somewhere. If it wasn't for that very, very, very smart grand jury, they would have wound up in an appellate court or Supreme Court. I was not playing with this county. We were going to raise money. I was going to mortgage the house. I've got assets, okay? I was not playing with this freaking county, and I'm still not playing with this county. They didn't follow the laws. They sandbagged me, and they cost me a shit ton of money. Somebody's going to be paying for that. I guarantee that. Never mind the emotional shit I've gone through. I stinking love your... But that's okay. That's okay. Sunny weather for dying trips me out. Well, because nobody trusts this county. And it seemed very strategic, where he just went to a convention and drops dead. I mean, and then all of a sudden this Yahoo Eric Craddock that doesn't like the word rape, prefers struggle snuggle. I keep wondering how many times did he struggle snuggle somebody. Those are the first things that come to my mind. I'm sorry. I just don't see professionals acting or conducting their business in that way. Yes, Lisa. But they don't know the Northern bikers because they don't play. I don't know of any bikers that play. Those are more. I got country roots and I got biker roots. I mean, and I'm sorry. Neither one play. I'm just saying. Exactly. You should sue them. Time will go on. I've got a lot of sticks in the fire right now, but I'm very thankful for the grand jury. That's all I can say. I never had faith in the grand jury until mine. I mean, I'm just like everybody else, The grand jury indicts a ham sandwich, and that's my stereotype. Well, now I have to review my stereotype because I wasn't indicted. So clearly they must listen. So I don't know. Can't you get them for pain and suffering? I don't know. I don't know what the options are. I know that like I said in those tapes, I do plan on going after Chris, Katie, and the Bowersox lawfully and legally for damages. And clearly the grand jury says I have the right to say that. Just saying. Yeah, I saw through the BS. They sure did. That's why I said that's why when I told you that the prosecutors and the judges, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. They knew exactly what they were doing. And that's strategy. That's strategic. That's a problem. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. But I will tell you this. I don't know if we're going to come back. I finally did go live last night. And we might go live tonight, but because it's Saturday, I don't know what time I'm getting back here. So I don't want to promise that I'm going to go live tonight. And then, you guys be like, right? So we may go live. We may not go live. So I would sub up and hit up and make sure all your notifications are on all. So when I get back here, if I go live, you guys will know it. And then we can have a discussion. All right, guys, have a great Saturday. We will see you later. And I am preparing a video. So I know for a fact you guys will have a video probably in the next few hours on the Sebastian Rogers case. And it's pretty shocking and pretty surprising what I found out. So you're going to want to watch that video. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. See something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. And more importantly, kind to one another.